What's up, YouTube? I'm Z, and this channel shows you the world through my lens. Okay, cool. Sometimes I feel like my system just messes up and maybe my computer mic tries to pick me up versus this one. So I just gave it a little tap tap. Welcome back. Obviously, yesterday we were reacting to the Graveyard trailer. And then I said if even one person liked my idea that this last day before the album comes out. Now for me it's a day because as you know I'm in Dubai. And the album is going to release midnight Eastern time, right? North American Eastern time. I mean, it's the only Eastern time, but you know what I mean. So for me, it's just not good timing because I have to record at night. So I will probably be about, 14 or 15 hours late on the album. It's just a product of where I live, guys. Can't do anything about it. So for me, I have a day, but by the time you guys see this, you're very lucky. You will be probably 6 or 7 hours away from listening to the new album. I'm so jealous. Now, in the meantime, the idea, by the way, which, this I'm scatterbrained. The idea was that we're going to go through every single Eminem album. I have written down, prepared all my notes. I have written down my personal favorite song. This is not me saying this is the best song on the album, but this is my personal favorite song from each album. And then I tried to do one honorable mention per album, but I'll be honest with you, Eminem's music is too damn good. There's too many freaking songs that I love. So I'll be doing most of the time 3 honorable mentions and a couple times maybe a little bit more than that. Couldn't help it, guys. But as I was doing this 27 minutes ago, we have the release of another trailer. This is the Basement trailer. We did Graveyard trailer yesterday. So this literally came out as I was driving over here. Cool. Let's check it out. Was he saying last hurrah coup de grace? Maybe? I'm not sure. I couldn't really tell. Last hurrah coup de grace. I think that's what he's saying. The voice, I think is the same voice used in, I think it was on Careful What You Wish For. You know in Careful What You Wish For? Like the first 45 seconds of the track. Is like all of these news sound bites. I think it was Careful What You Wish For. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I'm pretty sure it was. The other thing I quickly want to mention before we get into this, I was kind of racking my brain leading up to this moment. Is this kind of just, part of the album is going to be about this? Or was this going to be a full concept album? Now, those of you who've been following my journey leading up to this, you guys have heard me talk about that, where I was kind of playing in my head what a concept album would work like. And lo and behold, as this is about to come out, Eminem, I think, posted a tweet. Are they so called tweets? I think. Whatever. He put out a message and he said that it is a concept album. So that is now confirmed. I think most of us kind of felt like that's what it was going to be, the way he was building it up, doing the trailer, everything. But he was saying that to get the full value of it, you got to listen to it, chronologically. You cannot, if you listen to the song separately, it's not going to have the same effect. Guys, I love that. I love concept albums, a lot. So I'm very excited for that. I was planning on listening to the album start to finish anyways for you guys. And yeah, we're going to do that. Is there anything else I need to say? No, I'm just very excited. Can you tell? I'm so excited. I got to chill out. Probably going to scare people away from the way I'm acting. Okay, without further ado, let's get into this. I am going to just mark down some times here because I want to try to start doing some timestamps for you guys. I think it's helpful. Let's talk about this album. I'm not going to talk about Infinite because I just reacted to Infinite. So if you guys want to check out Infinite Reaction, you can check that out on my channel. I didn't want to talk about it today, but obviously I reacted to that album like 2 weeks ago or whenever it was. Yeah, so you can check that out to see what I think about that. You can also see I was listening to Toby. Well, maybe you can't see because the screen is small. But actually, can I switch it here? Maybe this is better because then you guys can see it. I hope you guys can see that well. First album we're going to talk about is Slim Shady LP, 1999. Now, guys, there's so many phenomenal songs on this. And the fact that this is his, like introduction to the world is crazy. I mean, it's phenomenal. And I could sit here and talk about so many of these songs. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get straight into my honorable mentions. The first honorable mention I have to point out is Guilty Conscience. I think conceptually just such a cool idea with him and Dre going back and forth in these, 3 different scenarios and being the good angel, bad angel type of situation. Phenomenally executed, great idea, fantastic song.
After coming home from a hard day's work, he walks in the door of his trailer park home to find his wife in bed with another man.
Alright, calm down, relax, and start breathing.
Oh, that's it. You just caught this if cheating. While you at work, she's with some dude trying to get off. It's off your throat. This bitch you've had off.
Wait.
I don't know why I have the edited version here, but it's just what's available to me. I do live in the UAE, and that can sometimes affect what I have. So yeah, that last verse is crazy. The next honorable mention I'm gonna say is 97 Bonnie and Clyde. This song is crazy. Like, it's about him and his daughter being Bonnie and Clyde. Like being together. But like with his wife, in the trunk. Like, mommy's gonna go for a swim in the lake. Bro, he says some crazy stuff in this song. So that just kind of, I listened to that and I was just like, wow, I didn't know that this was possible in music, but it is.
I love you. Come on, hey, we going to the beach. Grab a couple of toys and let Dada strap you in the car seat. Oh, where's Mama? She's taking a little nap in the trunk. Oh, that smell. Dada must have run over a skunk. Now I know what you're thinking. It's kind of late to go swimming, but you know your mama. She's one of those type of women that do crazy things, and if she don't get away, she'll throw a fit. Don't play with Dada's toy knife, honey. Let go of it. And don't.
The next honorable mention I'm going to say is Role Model. What does he start it off as? You can try this at home. You can be just like me. I mean, it's just, I think it was a brilliant track and almost prophetic in that we know moving forward, so many people do try to be like him. But even more so, it was used as an angle that like he was a bad influence on people. And it was a lot of what the energy was to try and shut him down, right? So I found that was just like a really cool song.
Okay, I'm going to attempt to drown myself. You can try this at home. You can be just like me. I get a clean shave, bathe, go to a rave, die from an ghost and dig myself up out of my grave. My middle finger won't go down. How do I wave? And this is how I'm supposed to teach kids how to behave. Now follow me and do exactly what you see. Don't you want to grow up to be just like me?
But for me personally, my favorite on this album is Rock Bottom. And it's Rock Bottom because I just think that when it comes to, I mean, this falls into kind of like a weird version of like what I would call like a motivational song. Like I think Eminem does motivational songs really well, but I think this song just talking about how bad things can really get, and anybody who's gone through like difficult hardship, and we all go through different levels, like our own versions of like what's really hard. But I think for that reason, this song is really awesome, and it is my favorite track on Slim Shady LP.
Comfortable and roomy in the six, but they threw me in the mix with all these gloomy lunatics that walk around depressed. One took a pound of cess a day, and yesterday went by so quick it seems like it was just today. My daughter wants to throw the ball, but I'm too stressed to play. Live half my life and throw the rest away. That's rock bottom. This life makes you mad enough to...
I mean, that line in its own, like, my daughter wants to throw the ball, but I'm too stressed to play. Yeah, any of us who've gone through tough times, like, man, we can relate to that shit so hard. Now, guys, what I would love is if you guys could comment down below. And for every album, I would love to know what your favorite track is. Remember, we're not talking about what necessarily is the best track, because best and favorite don't always end up being the same thing. But let me know what your favorite track is and what your honorable mention or mentions would be. Okay? Anyways, guys, we are moving right along to the second album, which is going to be the Marshall Mathers LP. Yes. This is a ridiculous album. As I was going through the track list again, and I'm just looking at it, I'm like, oh my God, there's so many good songs. And I was just like, man, I feel like if people do, engage with me and comment, this is the one where I feel like we could get so many different answers for like favorites and honorable mentions. But I'll talk about mine right now. The first honorable mention I'm going to mention is Marshall Mathers. Okay. Now on some of these, like, I purposely move away from some of the big songs. I mean, like Kill You, Real Slim Shady, Criminal. I mean, they're such huge songs, but I wanted to choose ones that I personally would go to and listen to when I would go and be like, okay, I want to listen to some songs from Marshall Mathers LP. So the first honorable mention, as I said, is Marshall Mathers.
I'm just Marshall Mathers. Marshall Mathers. I'm just a regular guy. I don't know why all the fuss about me. Fuss about me. Nobody ever gave a fuck before. All they did was doubt me. It was doubt me. Now everybody wanna run their mouth and try to take shots at me. Take shots at me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even need to get into the verse for that one. Just the chorus alone, you look at the messaging there, and it's like, I just think it's like a really cool, like, holy crap, what just happened type of song. And there's two of those on this album, and actually both of them are on my honorable mentions, because I just think that seeing a person who we see as like this mega skilled, talented person, and then they become like a mega celebrity, like one of the biggest. I mean, guys, look over on the right. He still has 81 million monthly listeners. He's still top 10, monthly listeners on Spotify in the world. Like, that's insane. He's been doing this for close to 30 years now. Like, madness. So Marshall Mathers, I mean, just the concept of like being like, holy shit, like, I'm just a regular guy, like, what's going on type of situation. And I just really enjoy the way he's doing it. Plus knowing that, he introduces Slim Shady to us in his first album. And this one just being like, under all of this, under my personas, under Eminem, under Slim Shady, I'm just me, like plain old Marshall Mathers, right? The second honorable mention for me is going to be the other one that is like this on this album, which is Who Knew? And it's the same kind of situation, right? But in this one, he gets a little bit more specific about, people doing things to try to replicate what he says in his lyrics. And knowing that, some of this was happening, but then also that, as I said in the previous album, a lot of heat was directed at Eminem for being a bad influence, even though we have like so many other things that are bad influences on people. But, I think this song kind of addressing that and talking about that was a really important song for him to put on this album.
Who's bringing the guns in this country? I couldn't sneak a plastic pellet gun through customs over in London. And last week I seen this Schwarzenegger movie where he's shooting all sorts of these motherfuckers with a Uzi. I see these three little kids up in the front row screaming go with their 17-year-old uncle.
Yeah, so I mean, I specifically chose to play that part of the verse because I think it was so important for him to put that in there. Like, you guys are coming after me. Like, I'm the bad influence. But, like, literally all these TV shows, all these movies, all of this stuff that does the same thing and not only just talks about it, but literally shows people shooting and killing each other in blood and gore. But I'm the bad influence. So I thought that was, like, a really, really good way to do that. The next one, guys, honorable mention, this has to be on here, especially the fact that I put 97 Bonnie and Clyde on the first one. This is Kim, okay? And, I mean, if somebody thought 97 Bonnie and Clyde was crazy, and it's crazy for him to be talking to his daughter in that way and about his daughter in that way with, like, knowing what he's done to his wife. Well, what exactly did he do to his wife? And now we have the song Kim, okay? I did not know a song could be so jarring, maybe is the right word. The creativity is insane to come up with this, and I think sometimes people give him a bad rap for this, but I would say, like, I would liken this to other art forms, same way he does in Who Knew, and I would say, like, if you enjoy, like, scary movies or horror movies and stuff like that, it's no different than coming up with a song where you explore the concept of being violent or doing, like, to me it's no different. The mind that comes up with a horror movie or a violent movie and a person who writes a violent song. Fun fact, I mean, the idea of this inspired me to write a song after my really, really bad breakup with my ex, who I was with for almost 5 years. We were just engaged, we were hopefully gonna get married, and she did some stuff that wasn't great, but if you guys ever want to hear that from me with, like, a heavy Eminem influence where I explore the idea of, like, giving into those dark urges and getting violent about something, definitely let me know. I'd be happy to share that with you guys. But yeah, I feel kind of weird playing this one, but
We was kids then, Kim. I was only 18. That was years ago. I thought we wiped the slate clean. That's fucked up. Oh God, my brain is racing. What are you doing? Change the station. I hate this song. Does this look like a big joke?
yeah, so we definitely can't play much more of that because, I mean, look, just what he does with his voice, crazy. You can just feel the raw emotion. It's almost like he really made himself go there to record that song, But guys, my favorite song on this, and this was a tough one to kind of choose, but I feel like a lot of us Eminem fans will agree on this. I think it's one of his best pieces of writing ever, and concept-wise, fantastic. We have to give Stan a shout. I mean, fantastically written. The story progression is so good. The hook from Dido, fantastic. And just a brilliant example of what storytelling can be in music. And I think anybody who's an aspiring writer or aspiring, like, artist, you study this song and you'll learn something special about this craft.
Dear mister, I'm too good to call and write my fans. This will be the last package I ever send your ass. It's been 6 months and still no word. I don't deserve it. I know you got my last 2 letters. I wrote the addresses on them perfect. So this is my cassette I'm sending you. I hope you hear it. I'm in the car right now. I'm doing 90 on the freeway. Hey.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, especially, like, as I'm listening to that verse, and it was just like, holy crap, what's going on? And you get to the last verse and you realize it's just a guy that's super busy and just didn't, and all of this happened in the time, and it's just crazy. I mean, look, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Again, guys, let me know, what's your favorite? What are your honorable mentions? Moving right along, we have the Eminem Show. For this one, I have also 3 honorable mentions. The first honorable mention I'm going to say is Haley's song. I choose Haley's song because I feel that him exploring singing and even acknowledging on the song that, like, yo, I'm not a strong singer, but, like, I'm going to sing for my daughter. First of all, I think that sentiment of, like, I can't sing, but I'm going to sing for you is, like, yeah, like I don't think I'm a good singer. I sing for my son every time I put him to sleep, like every single day. I put him to sleep every single day, and I sing to him. I mean, I don't know if he thinks it's good, but I do it. So for me, like that's always like a very touching part of it. But also I think him exploring this, and then he ends up, as his career goes on, doing more and more of the singing and really fine-tuning his layering. And this is a cool technique that he kind of, polishes up, where, if you don't have the range, but you can kind of just hold a note, and he holds like the 2 or 3 notes that he can hold, even though he doesn't have a ton of notes he can hold, but those 2 or 3, and just layers those, and the layering sound makes it sound something like appealing to listen to, right? So yeah, let's check out a little bit of this one.
Yo, I can't sing, but I feel like singing. I wanna fucking sing, 'cause I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy. I got my baby back. Yo, check it out. Some days I sit staring out the window, watching this world pass me by.
I mean, that's what, that song is so special to me. I feel like I could probably sit here and listen to the whole thing. But this is already going to be a super long video, guys. So let's keep it moving. Next honorable mention on Eminem Show is going to be Soldier. I'm a soldier. Yeah, I mean, look, guys, I'm really big into gym and working out, and training and lifting hard. So songs that kind of get me in that mode, I'm all about. And Soldier for me is one of those songs for sure that gets me into that mode. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and play a little bit of that.
Off of violating, all the motherfucking pets be off. I'm a bit fused. Anything I do, bitch, it's news. Pistol whipping, motherfucking bouncer 6'2". Who needs bullets? As soon as I pull it, you sweat bullets. An excellent method to get rid of the next bully. It's actually better.
Oh man, who needs bullets? As soon as I pull it, you sweat bullets. But like, listen to the beat, listen to the anger in his delivery. I mean, it's just something that will get you locked into that mode. And ready to lift some heavy weight. So for me, that's going to be the reason why this is there. Now, guys, there are so many on this one that I feel like could be in. Like, again, there's so many good songs on this. I almost feel like I want to shout out some of them because I'm not going to be picking them. Like, shout out Superman, shout out Without Me, like, fantastic. Obviously, huge song. Shout out Cleaning on My Closet. Yes, even that is not on my honorable mentions. Because I'm talking about workout songs, and because I use Eminem music a lot for working out songs, you guys know where I have to go next. Till I Collapse. I feel like this song has to be on almost every single workout playlist in existence. I mean, it's like it's literally called Till I Collapse. Like, I will work out till I collapse if this song is playing. So no further description needed. Let's get into this one.
As soon as a verse starts, I eat it at MC's heart. What is he thinking? I'm not to go against me smart, and it's absurd how people hang on every word. I'll probably never get the props I feel I ever deserve, but I'll never be served. My spot is forever reserved. If I ever leave Earth, that would be...
Oh man, another one I feel like I could just play all the way through, but we got to keep it moving, guys. My favorite song from this album, okay? Now, I don't know if everybody would choose this, but is Sing for the Moment. And it's Sing for the Moment because if I was to try to explain to someone like why music was like so important to me, I would say a bunch of things. But to have this song where Eminem kind of shows from his perspective why his music is so important and why it's important to people like us, I thought was just amazing and really just kind of spoke to like my connection and passion for music. And obviously like the sample was fantastic. So let's go ahead and check this out.
Entertainment is changing, intertwining with gangsters. In the land of the killers, a sinner's mind is a sanctum. Holy or unholy, only have one homie. Only this gun, lonely, cause don't anyone know me. Yet everybody just feels like they can relate. I guess words are a motherfucker. They can be great, or they can degrade, or even worse, they can teach hate. It's like these kids.
Yeah, and kids hang on to every statement we make. I mean, just that section right there, and that's why I chose to play that section. Words are a mother. They can be great, or they can degrade. They can teach hate. And I think it was just this thing where he's like, you know, people in different situations could probably relate to some of the stuff or a lot of the stuff I'm saying, or different stuff for different reasons. And it can really, it's like one of those things where it's like words are so powerful, and maybe we don't always realize the power that we wield. And I feel like it was just one of those moments in this song. And I think it's so cool to get that perspective from him. So this is definitely my favorite. Comment down below. Let me know. Eminem Show. Next up, we have Encore. Now, a little bit of background in terms of my listening experience around 2004, 2005. 2004, 2005 was like a weird couple years for me because I had found out from my parents that we were going to be moving to a different country. And actually we were moving to the United States, and we were going to move to Texas. And, you know, it was like the year before I was going to go into high school, and I was really excited to go to high school with my friends. And, you know, I was a little bit upset, a little bit angry. And while I listened to a number of songs from this album, at this time I was listening to a lot of like the underground release stuff. And a lot of it was like, you know, the beef stuff that was going on. Because I just felt like those angry, like violent, talking trash against people songs were just like kind of speaking to like what I was feeling at that time. So this is probably my least listened to Eminem album, to be honest. Obviously, other than Infinite, which I just heard for the first time. But that being said, I do have some choices here. My first honorable mention is going to be Like Toy Soldiers. I think, again, just did a really great job putting the song together, giving us some storytelling, shedding some light on some situations that were going on.
And asked him not to start it. He wasn't gonna go after him until John started gapping in magazines how we stabbed him. Fuck 50, smash him, mash on him, let him have it. Meanwhile, my attention's pulled in another direction. Some receptionist said the source who answers phone to this desk has an erection.
Yeah, and I mean, I played that part right there specifically because him kind of shedding some light on that situation is what led to a lot of those diss tracks going back and forth. Obviously, the Benzino situation, the Ja Rule situation. Those were the things that I was kind of listening to because, again, I was going through this like thing that was making me angry, and I needed songs that were just angry. And Eminem was my favorite artist, and 50 Cent was my second favorite artist. And it was just perfect. Second honorable mention on this album is going to be Yellow Brick Road. I didn't appreciate this song until a little bit later, especially once I fully understood what this was about. And really, for me, I think that the cool part is that, you know, I think like accountability and being an adult and taking your, you know, taking the negative shit that you do and claiming it is something that's becoming more and more rare in this world. I feel like people kind of just double down because like it's too shameful to admit that you did something wrong. And I think for that reason, I really like this song because of him addressing the situation that we know this song is about. So let me go ahead and play a little bit of that.
I'm kicked out my mom's, that's about the time I first met Proof with Goofy Gary on the steps at Osborne, handing out some flyers. He was doing some talent shows at Centerline High. I told him to stop by and check us out sometime.
So I played that part only because in the course of the story that he's telling, giving us all the background of what led up to the situation, he expresses this part where he talks about meeting Proof, rest in peace Proof. And obviously we know how important Proof was to him. So that's why I chose to play that part. In hindsight, maybe I should have played the part that was specifically addressing the situation, but it is what it is. Next honorable mention for Encore is going to be Big Weenie. And purely just because I never thought I would listen to a song called Big Weenie and on the chorus have somebody literally say, meanie, big weenie. Let's listen to the chorus.
You're just jealous of me cause you just can't do what I do. So instead of just admitting it, you walk around and say all kinds of really mean things about me cause you're a meanie. But it's only cause you're just really jealous of me cause I'm what you wanna be. So you just look like an idiot when you say these mean things cause it's so easy to see you're really just a big weenie. Big weenie.
Yeah, need I say more? I mean, talk about pushing the boundaries. Let's talk about top song. And there's a number of really big songs from this, at least in my opinion, songs that I feel like I've heard all over the place all the time. But for me personally, it's got to be one song, and that's going to be Mockingbird. That is my favorite from this album. And guys, anybody else who loves this song, we all know why we love this song. Just the storytelling and opening up about his family life, and just some of the stuff that he mentions in here is like heartbreaking. And I think it was just really cool to like further and deepen our connection with, you know, Marshall Mathers, the person. Like we know he's the crazy skilled rapper. We know he can do these crazy things, but to kind of get the curtain pulled back a little bit and see some more details on the struggle, especially about the family stuff, I think was just brilliant.
I remember back one year when daddy had no money. Mommy wrapped the Christmas presents up and stuck them under the tree and said some of them were from me cause daddy couldn't buy them. I'll never forget that Christmas. I sat up the whole night crying cause daddy felt like a bum. See, daddy had a job, but his job was to keep the food on the table for you and mom. And
I mean, anybody who, like, for example, since my son was, you know, since my wife was like going through the last bit of her first pregnancy and my son was born, we transitioned from a 2-income household to a single-income household. And it's been tough. It's difficult. I truly support my wife and like wanting her to, you know, be there for our son. And I want to do everything I can to make that a reality. But it's difficult. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of stress. Fortunately, we're, you know, better off than the situation that he's describing. But when I hear those lyrics, oh my God. Especially now, like I always had this great appreciation for them, but since I've become a parent, I mean, that literally is like a knife to my heart. Twist it, pull it out, then stab it again, because it's just like you want to be able to give your kids everything and do anything for your kids, and that is so tough. So for that reason, this is my favorite song on the album. Comment down below, let me know your favorite and honorable mentions from Encore. Next up, guys, we have Relapse. Now, again, a little bit of context in this situation. I was so insanely excited for this album to come out. Obviously, we know after Encore, M kind of like stepped away from music. You know, he was dealing with a lot of stuff. He was dealing with his drug issues, and he just had a lot going on. But the fans obviously were left like, yo, what the F? Where's M? And when he was coming back, guys, I went crazy. Like, this album, I know it's like controversial and like if people like it or not. I know there was a lot of accent use, and like in hindsight, I do feel like obviously it could have done with less accent use, but for me, this album was awesome. And maybe not everyone's going to agree with this opinion, but that's how I feel about it. So let's talk about some honorable mentions on this one. It was a very clear decision for me, not because I think these are the only good tracks on it, but just because I've listened to this album start to finish so many times that I knew exactly what my picks were going to be for this. And I listened to it so many times because I was literally, like, the way I feel about Death of Slim Shady right now is how I felt about this album coming out. But like even more because we had to wait so long. So the first one I'm going to mention is Underground. Underground is just this crazy verbal assault Slim Shady. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Broken tibias, fibias, yeah, fix me up. 60 sluts, all of them dying from asphyxia after they said piss through a Christopher Reeve sippy cup. The rhyme schemes, the structure, dude, it was just, it's insane. So I don't know why I rapped. I should have just played it.
It's in a strap that wraps twice around my back, then they latch it. Cut your fucking head off and ask where you headed off to. Get it? Headed off to? Medic, this headache's awful. This anesthetic's pathetic. So's this diabetic waffle.
Cut your effing head off and ask where you headed off to. Get it? Headed off to? Oh, medic, this headache's awful. Bro, that's what I'm telling you. This song, the stuff he did on this album, I know the accents really overwhelmed people, but this album has some nastiness on it. The next honorable mention from Relapse is going to be My Darling. This is a really cool... is My Darling only on... My Darling might only be on the Relapse refill. I didn't even realize that. So I gotta pick something else. Huh. You know what? I'm gonna pick... Ooh, that's tough. Oh, My Mom was crazy. You know what? I'm going to pick My Mom instead of My Darling. And then I say My Darling for refill. I'm going to say My Mom because I feel like getting this kind of... in a really insane way. And obviously slightly exaggerated. Or I don't know to what degree exaggerated. But, you know, it's crazy. But this view, like almost insight on why he has issues with his mom, but from like a very twisted place. So let's go ahead and listen to some of that.
My mom loved Valium and lots of drugs. That's why I am like I am, cause I'm like her. Because my mom loved Valium and lots of drugs. That's why I'm on what I'm on, cause I'm my mom.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Like, it's just like done in like a very comedic way, but like what he's saying is like so messed up and sad. Anyways, the next honorable mention is going to be Deja Vu. I think anybody who's heard this and him kind of like going through this story of like trying to fight, you know, taking the drugs and obviously failing. And just, yeah, I mean, I some of the rhymes on this are just some of my favorite from this album. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this.
Splash, it hits my stomach, then couple of weeks go by, it ain't even like I'm getting high. Now I need it just not to feel sick, yeah, I'm getting by. Wouldn't even be taking this shit if the Sean didn't die. Oh yeah, there's an excuse, you lose, proof, so you use. There's new rules, it's cool if it's helping you to get through.
See, and on this album, I feel like he really flexed his ability to just rhyme words, but not lose the ability to tell the story. Because in this album, I feel like he really doubles down and goes hard on like the internal rhyme schemes and the super frequent, use of rhymes. So like almost every other word is rhyming. And yeah, I mean, the way he described, you know, going back to drug use and how, you know, it starts with just this, but then, you know, within a week, it's like you're not even feeling the high anymore. So obviously you got to do more. And then you have all these excuses and reasons why you need to take the drugs. I mean, it's just anybody who's had issues with drugs, and I've mentioned myself in the past with some issues when I was dealing with the death of a very close friend who got stabbed and killed, and I just didn't have the ability to process it. And this is exactly what it felt like. In the beginning, it was fantastic, and then all of a sudden, it was like not enough, and I need more. So he describes it very, very well. Top song on this, guys, is going to be Beautiful. I mean, this is a song I can go to and listen to anytime. Is it cheesy for me to say that the song's beautiful? I don't want to say anything extra about it. I absolutely love this song, so let's go ahead and play some of this.
They ask for life to deal us with these bullshit hands with doubt. We gotta take these cards ourselves and flip them, don't expect no help. Now I could have either just sat on my ass and pissed and moaned, or take the situation in which I'm placed in and get up and get my own. I was never the type of kid to wait by the door and pack his bags. I sat on the porch and hoped and prayed for a dad that's sharp who never did.
Yeah, I know I let that play a little longer than maybe the other clips, but I love this song so much. And I specifically chose to play that verse because we all go through our own versions of hard times and hardships, but him talking about it that way, in that we all got to play the cards and the hand that we're dealt. Like, sometimes we can't change the situation, or actually all the time we can't change the situation that we were born into or that we came into, but what we can do is change what we do with it, right? And I think it's just a fantastic, inspirational song, and I love it. Let me know favorite song and honorable mentions from Relapse. From Refill, the Refill side of it, obviously we have Forever. Was Forever on this? No, Forever was on... Yeah, Forever should be on Refill, right? Oh, this is Deluxe. My Darling is on it. There's 3 versions of Relapse. Okay, there's Relapse, Relapse Deluxe, and Relapse Refill. So, I'm going to mention My Darling. Obviously, we all know Forever. I don't need to play that song. But My Darling is this really cool concept about him basically making a deal with the devil, to become famous. And this interaction back and forth between them, and then him trying to end the deal. And should I mention a spoiler? I mean, you guys have all heard these songs, right? Well, ultimately, he tries to finish the situation, and it does not work. So let's check out My Darling. We'll call this for the Refill, even though it's on the Deluxe as well.
Shady, listen. You hear that? They're screaming for you. I can bring your career back.
But I don't want it back.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. You're gonna regret it later.
No, I won't.
I'm gonna get Dre on the phone. I'll just call the doctor.
Go ahead. I already talked to...
Yeah, so anyways, I mean, anyone who's heard that song knows what happens as that verse progresses. I thought I'd play that part in case anyone hasn't heard that. They do want to check it out now. Check it out. Fantastically done. Really, really good song in terms of like following through on the concept. And I personally really enjoy it. So that's going to be my choice for the reloaded or refilled version of Relapse. Moving right along, guys, we have Recovery. This was huge, I think, for M's career because Relapse did receive, obviously, the mixed reception due to all of the accents and all of the stuff and just the things that he was doing on it. Plus, it had been so long, it was almost like if it dropped closer to Encore, I feel like it may have been received better because then at that point we're like still acclimated and conditioned to listening to all the lunatic, crazy stuff that M says. But once it's been a gap and you have like 4 or 5 years of not crazy psycho music, and then all of a sudden crazy psycho music drops, you're like, yo, what the fuck is this? So anyways, Recovery was huge for his career. Obviously it did super, super well commercially. And it has some fantastic songs on it. So we're going to talk about my honorable mentions. I had a hard time choosing, guys, so this is going to be my first one where I officially mentioned 4 honorable mentions instead of 3. The first honorable mention has to be Not Afraid. I talk about going to the gym and working out, and if there's going to be songs from the later part of his career, the second half of his career, that end up as being like an inspirational, motivational song, this has to be it. I mean, come on, like, how can't it, right? Let's check it out.
Playing with the scissors and shit and cut the crap. I shouldn't have to rhyme these words in the rhythm for you to know it's a rap. You said you was king, you lied through your teeth. For that, fuck your feelings. Instead of getting crowned, you're getting captain.
The dentist bars. F your feelings, like how you feel, but tooth fillings. Instead of getting crowned, but a crown on your teeth, you're getting capped. It's like a cap instead of a crown. So you're not winning. You're just gonna get. But then also a cap. Oh my god, that entire sequence was insane. So fantastic song. From there, my second honorable mention is going to be Spacebound. I think it was just phenomenally well done in terms of telling the story. And I think they eventually did a music video for this, right? I don't know if the music video was right away, but I do know that a music video was done for Spacebound. And let's just go ahead and play some of this.
I'll do whatever it takes. When I'm with you, I get the shakes. My body aches when I ain't with you. I have zero strength. There's no limit on how far I would go. No boundaries, no lengths. Why do we say that until we get that person that we think's gonna be that one? And then once we get him, it's never the same.
Yeah, I mean, he does a really good job of talking about relationships not working out the way that they should. And of course, knowing his story and all his situation, we know why he does a good job of telling that story. But I think any of us who've gone through a relationship that we thought or hoped would work out but didn't or ended badly, these are the type of songs that we're going to super relate to. And I absolutely love this song. Next honorable mention is going to be No Love. This song is the reason I had to do 4. Okay, even though I'm saying it third, but this is the reason I had to do 4. Because I couldn't leave this off. Eminem, Lil Wayne, this is a winning combination. They both did their thing. Phenomenal song. Let's go ahead and listen to some of it now.
Fellow, set fire to the mic, ignite the crowd. You can see the sparks from hot metal. Cold-hearted, from the day I guarded the game, I so started. A rock fellow when I'm not even in my harshest. You can still get roasted, cause Marcia's now mellow till I'm top, pulling from the top.
Yeah, I mean, the fire scheme, then coming all the way down to this part, even when I'm not at my harshest, so even if the fire's not super intense, I'm not going my hardest, you're still going to get roasted because Marsh is not mellow, but Marshmallow's on a fire, so even if the fire's dwindling, they're going to get Come on, man. Like, it's just... and he only gets better from here. When you talk about coming up with schemes, having the double entendres, the cool metaphors, the running analogies, like, he gets better from here, which is insane. The next honorable mention, guys, is Going Through Changes. I absolutely had to put this on because this is, again, one of those, like, growing up songs, and I think any of us that find ourselves in, like, a later stage in life, whether it was the first time you experienced this was maybe in your mid-20s, maybe you're experiencing it in your 30s or in your 40s, and it's just realizing that you aren't really the same person that you used to be, and I think it's a really cool song from an artist perspective to hear this one.
In the hospital, bullet tubes, but somehow I'm pulling through. Swear when I come back, I'ma be bulletproof. I'ma do it just for proof. I think I should state a few facts, cause I may not get a chance again to say the truth. Shit, it just hit me that what if I would not have made it through? I think about the things I would have never got to say to you.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously that's a harrowing part of it where he's talking about waking up in the hospital and stuff, and then we continue to see the constant theme of him talking about proof, like he was such an important person in his life, and I think the rhyme scheme right after that, he continues it by saying Whitney and Elena too. So yeah, I mean, I absolutely love that song. My favorite track on Recovery, though, is going to be Talking to Myself. I love this song, and I feel like it kind of shows a guy who is at the top of his field, but still somehow manages to show humility, right? Like, I think a lot of times when people are at the top of their field, they're just like super like, I'm the best. And M does that, don't get me wrong, but he's also a super humble guy at the same time, giving credit and respect to other people. And I think that's really cool. So on this particular track, the part I'm talking about is when he talks about, potentially dissing a couple people, we know who, and, talking himself out of it.
Hatred was flowing through my veins. On the verge of going insane. I almost made a song dissing Lil Wayne. It's like I was jealous of him cause of the attention he was getting. I felt horrible about myself. He was spitting and I wasn't. Anyone who was buzzing back then could have got it. Almost went at Kanye too. God, it feels like I'm going psychotic. Thank God that I didn't do it. I'd have had my ass handed to me and I knew it, but...
Yeah, so I would have had my ass handed to me and I knew it. Now, look, those of us that know M know that lyrically that's quite unlikely, even though, like, Kanye to me is not like a diss song guy. He just isn't. Kanye's like, and don't get me wrong, at that time Kanye was one of my favorite artists, because the run that he had on his first, I'm gonna say his first 5 albums, in my opinion, it's unbelievably good. Wayne is a different situation. I mean, I haven't really seen Wayne get into like a diss situation. I'm not sure that he ever would, like hearing him talk about it, but Wayne is somebody who's like really skilled. But the only version of this that I would agree with is that both of those guys were so huge at that point that just from buzz alone, any song that they put versus any song that M put, because M was kind of like recovering from his recovery, it would have struggled to kind of compete, I think. But at the same time, kill shot. So what do I know? Let's keep going. Let me know your favorite and your honorable mentions from Recovery. Moving right along, guys, we're going to go to the Marshall Mathers LP 2. Okay? This album came out at a weird time for me as well. I had just had to leave the United States because of visa issues. So I moved to Canada. I was living in Vancouver. This was the beginning of the end of my relationship with that ex that I was telling you guys about earlier, because our relationship went from regular relationship to long distance. And yeah, this was the beginning of the end. But I went through a really dark time. This album came out at the right time. This was before I found out about her cheating on me, but not much before. But I kind of already felt that things were not in a good place. And I remember at the time I was working 3 jobs. One of the jobs was like floor restoration. And so I would like work with these heavy machines and stuff, like, you know, on like concrete or those type of floor materials, marble, stuff like that. And yeah, I just remember like having my headphones in every single day, and I had this album on repeat when it came out. So this is another album that was very important in terms of timing for me. I do have some stuff written down here. I have 3 honorable mentions. The first one, we're going to get it out of the way. I did not choose this as my favorite song, but it has to be mentioned, and that's going to be Rap God. And Rap God has to be mentioned because this was M's kind of first transition on his own music. I mean, I think had he already done that verse with Tech 9 at this point? I don't remember the timelines. I don't know when he did Speed 'Em. That might have been after, maybe. I don't know. Let me know, guys, if you remember the years. But Rap God to me was like his first kind of like, let me show you what I can do. Like, you guys know me for a bunch of things, but you don't know me for this yet. Watch this. And I think it was a bomb dropped on the world, to be honest.
The radio station the very next day. Hey Fab, I'ma kill you. Lyrics coming at you with supersonic speed.
JJ Fab.
Summon, I'm a doing, you assuming I'm a human. What I gotta do to get it through to you? I'm superhuman, innovative, and I made a rubber so that anything you say is speaking, shaking off of me and it'll glue to you and devastating more than ever, demonstrating how to give a motherfucking audience a feeling like it's levitating, never fading. And I know the haters are forever waiting for the day that they can say I fell off to be celebrating, cause I know the way to get it motivated.
I always lose it at the last part. I can do like 70% of it, but when he gets to that last part, I always lose it. It's like almost a tongue twister at that point. So that has to be an honorable mention. From there, we're going to go to Love Game because I think that him having Kendrick Lamar on it, and Kendrick Lamar really showing us, number one, how Eminem was an influence and has, you know, led to him being a beast of a rapper, and really doing a fantastic job with the theme of the song and delivering super well. But Eminem coming back in on the 3rd verse and being like, yeah, Kendrick can really rap. And because I'm on a song with someone who can really rap, let me dead this real quick. And I feel like that's what the 3rd verse was from M, because it was crazy.
Needless to say, I'm feeling betrayed. Snatched my house key off a keychain. She jumps off eBay from the wire stick. Now she's chasing me with a cheese grater. Here goes that broken record cliche. It's all my fault anyway. She's turning the tables. I'm a beat break. She treats my face like Serato. She cuts and scratches like a DJ. Each day is an instant replay. They say what we display symptomatic of addict behavior. Back together, but forgot today was her B-day. She cut me off on the freeway. Simple misunderstanding. But just as I went to slam on the brakes, that's when I realized that she may be crazy. It's me. Wait, bitch, cut my fucking brake line. Stepped on them fuckers 8 times. Still going 73. Thank God there's an exit coming up for the mother F-U-C-K.
Yeah, I mean, that whole sequence, I let it run for quite a bit, but when I was trying to get to the part where he talks about her cutting off his brake line, step on that shit 8 times, and it gets crazier from there too. So fantastic song there. The next one has to be Headlights for me personally. I think him going back and being reflective on the situation with his mom, and basically this song ultimately being like the, you know, we're past this now, and we can start healing type of song. And getting Nate Russ on there, who I think, I don't know all the details, but must have had issues, because the way that you know, he sang it, I just felt like there was so much emotion and stuff into it. So it was just done really, really well. So let's go ahead and listen to this.
Cause to this day we remain estranged, and I hate it though. Cause you ain't even get to witness your grandbabies grow. But I'm sorry, mama, for cleaning out my closet at the time. I was angry, rightfully maybe so. Never meant that far to take it though, cause...
Yeah, so I mean, that's just, again, a very beautiful thing to publicly, you know, admit that you maybe did something that wasn't right, or that you don't agree with anymore, and that you've changed. And again, in a world today where people don't do that as much, and people just double down and like, no, like I was right, you were wrong. I think we need more of stuff like this. So I absolutely love that track for that reason. And I was very close to choosing it to be my favorite, and there's a few on this that could have really been in here. Like I see some tracks even right now as I'm looking at this, like, yeah, that's a really good track. But the one I have to pick as my favorite is Bad Guy. Okay, and I had to pick this because it being a continuation of his storytelling, I just think it was done so well. It was done so well. I mean, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Let's get straight into it.
I've been driving around your side of this town like 9 freaking hours and 45 minutes now. Finally, I found your new address, parking your drive. Feel like I've been waiting on this moment all of my life, and it's now arrived, and my mouth is full of saliva. My knife is out, and I'm ducking on the side of your house. See, it's sad it came to this point, such a disappointment. I had to make this appointment to come and see you, but...
Yeah, I mean, again, just like his story progression on here, and then the fact that this is connecting back to Stan, which was from Marshall Mathers 1, it's just very fitting to have a continuation of that story on Marshall Mathers LP 2. And for that reason, this is going to be my favorite track on the album. Comment down below, guys. Let me know what's your favorite and your honorable mentions for Marshall Mathers LP 2. Let's move right along to Revival. Now, I have a confession going into this. You know, talking about people admitting when they're wrong and admitting things. My first listen of this album, I had a very difficult time. And I think sonically it was just so different, production-wise and delivery-wise. I mean, in this album, we get this new version of M finding these pockets. And I think that it was just so different than what I had heard from him before that my first response to this album was not super great. It wasn't until maybe, I want to say like a year after this album came out that I went back and I was like, whoa, like there are some really good tracks on this album. And now it's definitely one that I do think I have to be in a certain mood, but there are tracks on this that will forever be on my playlist. So let's talk about some of those. My honorable mentions. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I am a huge Ed Sheeran fan. So anytime there's Ed Sheeran, is going to be mentioned. Sorry, we got to talk about River. Awesome feature with Ed Sheeran, and he does once again a really good job with just the imagery and the storytelling in this particular track.
I've been a liar, been a thief, been a lover, been a cheat. Oh, my sins need holy water, feel it washing over me. Well, little one, I don't want to admit to.
I know I typically have been playing the M verses, but I feel like I had to give my boy Ed Sheeran some love here. I'm such a huge fan of Ed Sheeran. I saw him live here in Dubai some months back, and this guy is the real deal. Like, he is unbelievably good. If you ever get a chance to see him live, I highly recommend it. So River's got to be on there. The next honorable mention for me is going to be Bad Husband. Much like other tracks where I talk about him, you know, showing some growth and some self-reflective, moments, I think Bad Husband falls into that category too. And once again, the chorus does a really good job of summing it up. But I'll try to pick a part of one of his verses that I feel like I appreciate from this song.
We brought out the worst in each other. Someone had to make the sparring end, cause I loved you, but I hated that me, and I don't wanna see that side again. But I'm sorry, Kim, more than you could ever comprehend. Leaving you was fucking harder than sawing off a fucking body limb.
Yeah. And again, you just listen to that, and again, knowing the songs that we've heard in the past, especially some of the ones I've chosen, 97, Bonnie and Clyde, and Kim, and then to get to this point, it's just a beautiful thing to see in a person that you can change, that you can grow, and there's not enough of that as well in this world. So very cool, that song. From there, I actually have to pick a duo. I think that these two songs should always be listened to together. So I think that anyone who knows this album knows exactly what I'm talking about right now, and that is going to be Castle and A Rose. These are... Castle is... Okay, let me put it this way. Castle is an amazing setup to go into A Rose. But when you go into A Rose, it's like... It's difficult. It's difficult because of what he's talking about and the way that it's being done. And it's just phenomenal. I mean, this is probably the deepest he's ever taken us into that time in his life where he was missing from us. And we all were like, oh, we need him. Where is he? And really shows what was going on during that time. So I'm going to play a little bit of A Rose.
Cut down on the volume, I'd have heard everything, but death is turning so definite. Wait, they got me all hooked up to some machine. I love you, Bean. Didn't want you to know I was struggling. Feels like I'm...
That voice effect, that thing, really, really elevates the emotion in the track. And just that line right there, I really didn't want you to know that I was struggling. And this is a lot of what, people who go through addiction or go through stuff could probably relate to. I mean, for me, it was because I felt like I had nobody I could talk to or relate to with losing my friend. And so I felt trapped. And when I felt trapped, it was like, if I take these things, I actually feel nothing. And that's better. And that was really the appeal for me. So, I mean, these two songs, fantastic. My favorite track on the album, though, as I mentioned that I am a workout fiend. And I think if anybody is looking for a song to add to their workout, it's got to be Believe. I mean, this song, first of all, the amount of metaphors that he has on this, the double entendres that he has on this, are crazy. Like, this dude is really, really rapping on this one, flexing his pen. But just the messaging and the chorus and everything, fantastic. So I'm going to play you guys one of my favorite parts on this.
Corn cob piping, smoke that. But my battery's low. I'ma need a boost in my pack, and I know that I always got proof at my back. I called you proof because I knew for a fact. My ace in the hole, homie, I'm calling on you, cause I think I'm slowly starting to lose faith in its own. Give me that inkling and motivation to go. Who's saying with the flow? Fake fans let your two-face to the show. Let heartbeats loop, produce hate in my soul. Laying vocals 2 days in a row.
No, I'm ready. I'm ready right now to go back to the gym. I just came from the gym and I'm ready to go back. Oh, that song goes so hard. And him doing that with his voice, like, and my battery's low. And then when he goes inkling and motivation, and as he says that, his voice comes back to full power. And I called you proof because I knew for a fact. Bars. Let me know, guys, what was your favorite song on Revival and honorable mentions? And in fact, why don't you let me know what your first impression was hearing Revival, because we do know that it was received pretty poorly, but I want to know what your impression was, because I was pretty honest about mine. I did not like it on first listen, and then when I went back to it later on is where I really grew the appreciation for it. Moving right along, guys, we got Kamikaze. Now, obviously, we wouldn't have Kamikaze without Revival not doing super well. I actually had like a cool sequence that I had on this song called I Feel It Coming. And I sampled the song I Feel It Coming on that, or the person who made the beat that I used. and it was basically me talking about like how music has like gotten to like not a good place, and the birth of mumble rap and stuff like that. And I come to this second verse and I talk a little bit about M and Lupe, like two of my favorite rappers. And at that time, Lupe had just dropped Droga's Wave, I think. And it was a couple years after, I think. Maybe a year after Kamikaze or something. 2 years after Kamikaze came out. But I talk about how Revival... I said something like... Revival receiving an awful reception was awfully vital. To revive a rapper so godly... Pissed him off. Now his fists are up, so he had to drop Kamikaze. It was something like that, if I'm remembering it correctly. And this was awesome. I mean, if you were around when this happened, and this was also the time when like reaction channels were starting to really take off. This is where I became a fan of No Life Shack. I mean, I listened to a lot of his reactions. Maybe it wasn't in 2018. I think maybe a little bit after it came out. But I do know that reaction channels were really on the rise at this point, and this was a huge thing for them. So let's talk about some honorable mentions here. I think for me, I have to put Not Alike. I think this is a really solid verse from M, and we also know who he's talking to on his verse. So, you know, without this, we wouldn't have you know what that I've already mentioned on this video. So, yeah. And Royce absolutely did his thing on this one as well. So, fantastic song, but we're going to go ahead and listen to some of M's verse.
Not to do with muscular, but have guns for sure. You better put a strap on, other words, if you're gonna roll up with your gang. You gonna need an arsenal, cause this bar is over your head. So you better have arms if you're gonna pull up. Oh, you run the streets, huh? Now you wanna come and fuck with me, huh? This little cocksucker, he must be feeling himself. He wants to keep up, it's tough to mean us. So he does a feature, decides to... Anyways, he says something about Nina, so obviously Tech 9, we know that situation of MGK using that song. Yeah, he goes crazy. I mean, that whole arms up, if you want to do a pull up, crazy. Okay. But also arms up like guns if you're going to pull up. Like, it was just, there's so many layers. Like, this is where he really was like, let me show you how I can really, really rap. And it only goes crazier from here when we get to Music to Be Murdered By. The other one we got to mention is Lucky You. Joyner Lucas did his thing on this, and I love that their two verses kind of mirrored each other, but from their perspective. So Joyner talking about how he's going to be hungry, how he's really hungry, and he feels like he's never going to get the appreciation for his art and maybe never win a Grammy. I think he says something to that effect. And M has the flip where he's like, you know, I've been eating for a long time, but, you know, I can still eat. And obviously he's a very well accomplished artist. I got a couple of mentions, still I don't have any manners. You got a couple of ghostwriters, but to these kids it don't actually matter. They're asking me what the fuck happened to hip-hop. I said I don't have any answers, cause I took a L when I dropped my last album. It hurt me like hell, but I'm back on these rappers. And actually coming from humble beginnings, I'm somewhat uncomfortable winning. I wish I could say what a wonderful feeling. We're on the upswing like...
I feel like both of those songs that I just chose have to be on a workout playlist as well. I mean, come on. Craziness. Okay, the next one that we're going to mention for honorable mention is going to be Fall. I absolutely love this track. I love the beat on it. And I love what he's talking about. And I feel like watching the music video elevated it even further. And I know the music video kind of helped set us up for like the like Venom situation as well. Venom is a fantastic track on this as well. I know that kind of counts as another honorable mention. But the music video for Fall really elevates it, especially starting it off with him looking at all the bad reviews for Revival and really just showing like where this concept, you know, was born. So let's listen to some of Fall.
Just remember, I was here before you, and I'll be here after you. Make you running for you. Detractors, I'ma have to fuck pitchfork with a corkscrew. Just what the doctor ordered. Revenge is the best medicine. Increase the dose from least to most, and then tell the Grammys to go and fuck themselves. They suck the blood from all the biggest artists like some leeches, so they nominate them, get them their get a name.
Oh man, I feel like I could just let the whole thing play so hard. So I absolutely love that song. But my favorite song on this has to be The Ringer. And honestly, I was very close to choosing Fall as my favorite song and putting Ringer as the honorable mention. But I had to choose The Ringer because him just going through the list here and the fact that this is the intro and it sets the album off on the perfect tone. It was just the right song. And him talking about a ton of people was fantastic.
Shit to do or get this, cause I just don't get what the fuck half the shit is that you're listening to. Do you have any idea how much I hate this choppy flow? Everyone copies, they'll probably know. Get this fucking audio out my audios. I can see why people like Little Yachty, but not me though. Not even dissing it, just ain't for me. All I am simply is just an MC. Maybe Stan just isn't your cup of tea. Maybe a cup full of syrup and lean. Maybe
Oh, come on, man. Another one. I feel like you could just let it play all the way through. So good. So those are my picks. Let me know, guys, what your favorite is and what your honorable mentions would be on this album. Moving along, guys, we have Music to Be Murdered By. I am going to do this and then Side B separately. So on this version of the album, I think honorable mention, we have to mention Godzilla. Again, he just kind of shows us that he can continue taking it up to the next level. And I'm currently going through a Juice WRLD journey where I'm exploring this artist who I haven't really heard outside of this song actually until very recently. And I'm really enjoying Juice WRLD, and he was obviously a big M fan, so this is huge for him. You know, rest in peace. But yeah, M goes stupid in this one.
bury a face on my genital area. The original Richard Ramirez, Christian Rivera. Cause my lyrics never sit well, so they wanna give me the chair. Like a paraplegic and it's scary, call it Harry Carry. Cause every time I'm digging Harry Carry, I'm marry a motherfucking dictionary on. I'm swearing up and down, they can spit this shit's hilarious. It's time to put these bitches in the obituary column. We wouldn't see eye to eye with a staring problem. Get the shaft like a staring column.
We wouldn't see eye to eye with a steering problem. Get the shaft like a steering column. Yeah, I mean, he went stupid on that one. There's nothing else I can say about it. From there, we're going to talk about Those Kind of Nights. I already told you guys, Ed Sheeran, special place for me. So there's an Ed Sheeran feature. It's going to be mentioned. Those Kind of Nights. Honestly, I really, really enjoyed this track. I thought it was super fun. The chorus was awesome. M did a great job in his part. I think there's a part, actually, you know what? Instead of playing Ed Sheeran's part this time, I will play a part of M's verse. Hold on.
Hit up the next club, met Alexa, but she was so extra, called her etc. Had her like, oh my god, my whole iPod's filled with your songs, I'm on my lawn to him. I said, oh my god, you know my songs, that's totally awesome, mine, Marshall, what's going on?
I love that part because I think it's so hilarious and so like M Slim Shady-esque to like respond back in that voice. Hilarious. So absolutely love that song. From there, we're gonna go to Darkness. Now this I was caught between a few different ones trying to choose. I mean, I love a lot of tracks on this, guys, but I chose this one because I think listening to this and seeing how he ran the parallel all the way through, so like someone could assume that he's talking about this from the perspective of like preparing to like go and getting some nerves about performing and going to like kill a show, but then really like go and kill a show, right, with the Las Vegas shooter. I think this is just a phenomenal piece of writing. Once again, something that should be studied by people who want to become better songwriters or better artists. This is like S tier level stuff. So let's listen to some of this.
My window, that's when you know you're schizo. Cause I keep peeking out the curtain from the hotel. The music is so loud, but it's almost as though I don't hear no sound. I should get ready for the show now. Wait, is this the whole crowd? I thought the shit was sold out.
See, and so that section, you listen to it and you could definitely imagine like a nervous artist peeking out like, oh my gosh, I thought there was going to be more people than this and you know, I better get ready. But then knowing what he's actually talking about, brilliantly written. Like, honestly, it's so good. But my favorite track on this album is I Will. This track has King Crooked, Royce da 5'9", Joel Ortiz, and obviously Eminem. And all of these guys did their thing. Like, really good job. M's verse went nuts. But again, all of them did their thing. The Wilkes Booth bar, oh my god, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Whew. But let's look at M's bar here, or M's verse.
This'll probably be the most silly shit that I've ever said. God bless the dead and let Biggie possess the pencil lead. They called me a sped and said that I had a messed up head, cause I said motherfuck school and instead went to special ed. Sipping Bacardi and lime, I start to recollect on the time when I started my mom and had her scared to death. Word to Method Man, she heard some Wu-Tang coming from towards the patio. She was like, what the heck was that? She went to check on the noise and go inspect the deck.
Inspect the deck. Oh man, the way that he intertwines these like people who are his influences and people that he's a fan of through this verse is just so masterful. So definitely had to show some of that, but that is easily my favorite song because again, they all just killed it. But there's a lot of songs on this that I really like, and I'm having a hard time not mentioning some of these, but you know, I'm trying to stick to the game plan, right? Let me know, what are your favorites from this side A of Music to Be Murdered By, favorite and your honorable mentions. Let's move on to side B. So side B, I'm not sure how you guys felt about this side. I liked a lot of these songs quite a lot. I'm going to try to avoid mentioning them all, but I will say that easily there's this one section here. Is that cheating? Where there's like 4 or 5 songs in a row where it's just an awesome run. But anyways, to stick to the rules, I'm going to go ahead and mention my honorable mentions. The first honorable mention I'm going to mention is Zeus. I'm saying mention a lot. This was really well done. He is addressing certain things in here, especially we know with the whole Snoop Dogg situation. So, but the chorus is super catchy and he goes crazy on his verse. Or his verses. So this is definitely one that I had to mention.
She says I am trash, but she listens to Tekashi. Bitch, you lost me. Yeah, fair weather, wishy-washy. She thinks machine washed me. Swear to God, man, her favorite rapper wish she crossed me. Love conflict got her obnoxious, subconscious. I'm afraid to unlock it. Keep those monsters in the closet.
Yeah, so I mean, look, I definitely could have picked a lot of different parts here, but I had to play that first part because, you know, he's addressing certain situations. And also, I just want to point out, you know, anybody who thinks machine washed him, that was a great bar, by the way, like a washing machine washed him, wishy-washy. I don't know. I mean, you may just be like a bigger fan of MGK. Maybe you don't like Eminem that much, but I think anybody, you know, who tries to look at that objectively, like, yeah, it's just not true. So that's the first one. The second one is going to be These Demons. I had a hard time choosing between a few songs for this second spot on my honorable mentions, but I ended up going with These Demons. And I'm going to play a part of this song for you guys.
Dickers in Cheney, drifters in sailing. They bring my name up just to get ratings. It's like trying to choose between busy, lazy, or Michigan's crazy. Cause I got a bone to pick in Slim Shady. With Thug and Harmony. Who attempt to diss Haley. Bitch, I will go in like it's raining and I get canceled like...
Oh, Thug and Harm any that would attempt to diss Haley, but Bone Thugs and Harmony, like, he goes stupid in so many parts of this song, but I had to mention that part, guys. Like, that whole sequence is crazy. Oh, ooh, I gotta go back and just add so many songs to my workout playlist. Next up, we have Killer. I think he did a fantastic job on this one, and I actually really enjoyed the remix as well with Jack Harlow and Corday. I think they did a fantastic job, and it was awesome for M to kind of give them a spot. Obviously, that's a huge moment for them considering, you know, Eminem's following. But this time we have the regular version of Killer, so we're going to go ahead and listen to some of that.
Yell out, it's a birthday. She's 50 and in the club, then it comes on. That in the club song. She's a buzzsaw. We're going numbskull. I live on the edge. She's a jump off. Call her Cinderella. She loves balls. Now count it like.
Oh, man. Sometimes it's just like you just need some like funny slapstick humor type of stuff. Call her Cinderella because she loves balls. Ay. M, you crack me up, bro. So that's going to be my third honorable mention, but this brings us to my favorite track on side B. And for me, that's going to be Higher. And I kind of like, it's funny, I wasn't planning on it. It wasn't like scripted, but like, there's a lot of songs that I could have mentioned because there are several more that I really like from this. But for me, when I was listening to Godzilla on the first part, and I think, wow, like, we thought X was so, or like, this part that he did once was like so impressive, and he just keeps showing us that he can keep pushing that boundary. And to me, Higher is the summation of that. He's telling us himself that, like, every time that, it's like, oh, I've reached a new peak, it's like, nah, that was just like a false peak. There's even more that I can do. Let me show you. And Higher is like the perfect summation of that. So the fact that this is the last album we have before his new one coming out, and this is the last song, let's hope that this is also a manifestation on what Death of Slim Shady is going to be. He's going to take it another level higher for us than we've ever seen before, and we're going to manifest that now by listening to this track.
All I ever wanted was to be an MC. Tediously I wrote obediently, believing in me. EPMB must have had teaching degrees, learned to defeat enemies with the ink. Thinking of these rhymes would be as easy as E, and graffiti would be like remedial reading to me. To my last breath leaves my lungs, I'ma beat my drum for the streets I'm from. The east side slums, gotta remind them, I'll take a folk out like feet by thumb. You see my finger, you see my thumb, you see my fist for a peace pipe. I'm here for the smoke, but it's not the weed I want. With this beat I brung, for the beef I've come, but you better bring it if you wanna reply from. Cause for you to be lyrically inclined, it'd be a steep climb up.
For you to be lyrically inclined, it would be a steep climb up. Oh my god, man, this dude's stupid, but fantastic. I mean, that's definitely my favorite song from Side B. Let me know what was your favorite song from Side B and what are your honorable mentions. Guys, we've made it. This was very long. I wasn't sure how long it would be, but obviously we went through a lot of albums and there was a lot of songs to talk about. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. Hopefully while I'm asleep, you guys are going to be enjoying hearing his new album. Like I said, I'm super jealous. I wish for that reason only that I was still in North America so I could listen to it right when it comes out. But there's a lot of good things with me living here, so it's fine. I'll survive. It's terrible. No, it's fine. It's great. But hopefully it lives up to everything, and I cannot wait because 24 hours from now, I will probably have just finished my album reaction, and I honestly am so truly excited for this. If you guys are here and you joined me on this journey and you shared your favorites and stuff, I really appreciate that. I can't wait to read your comments and see what you guys like from every single album. And I want to see, are some of our choices the same? Are some of our choices going to be wildly different? I just am curious what other fans feel when they listen to these albums. So I look forward to that. If you guys are still here, I appreciate you spending your time with me. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you next time.